Vote mighty mitochondria. Why vote mitochondria to take the nucleus's place? Mitochondria is the perfect replacement for nucleus because he is independent. Mitochondria has empty DNA, which is his own DNA, and he also has his own ribosomes because he is not part of the endomembrane system. Mitochondria doesn't need nucleus to survive like all the other organelles running against him. The other organelles are dependent on the nucleus. Structure of the mitochondria. The inner membrane of the mitochondria folds many times and is called cristae. Cristae increases the surface area inside the mitochondria for more chemical reactions. The fluid in the mitochondria is called the matrix. The matrix is like cytoplasm but contains less water. In the matrix, the citric acid cycle takes place, which produces energy molecules called ATP. The matrix also contains the DNA of the mitochondria along with the ribosomes that produce proteins. Function of the mitochondria. In aerobic respiration for animal cells, mitochondria takes in glucose and oxygen and converts it to carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. ATP is the most important outcome because it is the main source of energy for metabolic functions. In plant cells, mitochondria takes carbon dioxide and water and gets energy from sunlight to convert it to glucose and oxygen. Mitochondria is the only place in the body where carbohydrates, fats, and proteins can be broken down into the creation of ATP. Without mitochondria, the body would have to restore to anaerobic respiration that happens in the cytoplasm, and it produces a much less quantity of ATP. Without mitochondria, animals and plants wouldn't have a lot of energy, or they just wouldn't survive. The whole ecosystem would die except for the organisms that already live off anaerobic respiration. Why mitochondria is the best candidate? You wouldn't want to vote for ribosomes because mutations in proteins that make the ribosomes cause disorders like bone marrow failures and an elevated cancer risk. You wouldn't want to vote for vesicles or lysosomes because it could have storage disorders. One disorder is called cytinosis, which is the excess storage of an amino acid called cysteine. It causes malfunctions in your kidneys and you could develop a sensitivity to light. You wouldn't want to vote for the plasma membrane because diseases like diabetes and hypocholesterolemia are caused by the defect in a plasma membrane. And lastly, you wouldn't want to vote for the endoplasmic reticulum because if it doesn't fold a protein correctly, it could lead to cystic fibrosis. And you also might argue that lysosomes have digestive enzymes, and if they wanted, they could kill the whole cell. And again, that is 100% true. But without the mitochondria, the lysosome wouldn't even be able to do it. Without the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum wouldn't be able to fold proteins, and the Golgi apparatus wouldn't even be able to transport those proteins to vesicles so then the vesicles can carry them outside the cell. The whole endomembrane system wouldn't function without the mitochondria. And lastly, the nucleus wouldn't be able to copy segments of DNA without the energy of the mitochondria. Let's talk about fun facts of the mitochondria. The mitochondria can quickly change shape and move around the cell when needed. It can also reproduce by growing larger and then dividing when cells need more energy. But when the cell needs less energy, the mitochondria will die, meaning it'll take one for the team. And different mitochondria organelles produce different proteins, and they can be used for various functions. At this point, you might be thinking, who should I vote for? Mitochondria, ribosome, lysosome, vesicles, or plasma membrane? Let me ask you a question. Why are you even thinking? It shouldn't even be a question. The mitochondria is the best organelle. Haven't you been listening? All the other organelles wouldn't even be functioning without the mitochondria. So why wouldn't you vote for him? When the nucleus is gone, the mitochondria promises to devote his life into making the cell a better place, unlike his competitors. I mean, if you made the lysosome mad, he would just kill everyone because he's a brat. And the plasma membrane is the same. He would just let diseases in to kill us. The mitochondria would never hurt his fellow candidates. In fact, he would even work with them. He would work with the plasma membrane to let in glucose so he can convert to ATP. And he would also work with ribosomes to make proteins so he can carry out various functions. So now it's up to you. Vote for the mitochondria.